This video covers basic concepts about energy sources. We'll start by learning about primary and secondary energy sources. Then we'll discuss renewable and non-renewable energy sources. And we'll finish up with specific energy and energy density. Let's begin with primary and secondary energy sources. A primary energy source has not been converted or transformed before it is used by a consumer. Examples include fossil fuels, such as coal, crude oil, or natural gas, uranium-235, which is used in nuclear power stations, wind, solar energy, and falling or flowing water. For instance, when someone uses coal to heat up water, they are using coal directly to carry out a task, so coal here is a primary energy source. Similarly, when a windmill is used to grind grains into flour, the mill is using wind as a primary energy source. On the other hand, a secondary energy source is one that results from the transformation of a primary energy source. The most common, everyday example of such a source is electricity. Electricity in our homes results from the transformation of a primary energy source, usually done in a power station. A power station can be fueled by any of the primary energy sources that you see on the left. We'll learn more about power stations in a later video. Another example of a secondary energy source is the gasoline that we put in our cars. Gasoline results from refining crude oil, so it is a secondary energy source. A final example is a pumped storage hydroelectric system. We'll learn more about this system in a later video. Next, let's move on to renewable and non-renewable energy sources. A renewable energy source is either continually generated or can be replenished in a relatively short amount of time. By short amount of time, here we mean the scale of a human lifetime. Examples include water, wind, the sun, geothermal energy, and biomass. For instance, wind energy is continually generated as a result of air currents, while one way to produce energy from biomass is by using crops such as corn, which can be grown in a few months. On the other hand, non-renewable energy sources can only be replenished over a very long period of time. This means thousands or even millions of years. Examples here include coal, crude oil, natural gas, and uranium-235. Coal, for instance, is formed from plants. However, coal formation takes millions of years. The final topic in this video is specific energy and energy density. Specific energy is the energy per unit mass that is stored in a fuel. Based on the definition, the unit of specific energy is joules per kilogram. For example, the specific energy of wood is between 10 and 20 megajoules per kilogram, depending on the type of wood. This means that when 1 kilogram of wood is burned, it releases somewhere between 10 and 20 megajoules of energy. Energy density is the energy per unit volume that is stored in a fuel. It is measured in joules per cubic meter. The energy density of wood is between 1 and 10 gigajoules per cubic meter. Again, the specific value depends on the type of wood. Let's summarize what we have learned in this video. We started by defining a primary energy source and provided several examples of primary energy sources. Then we explained what a secondary energy source is, along with some examples. Next, we moved on to renewable energy sources, which include water, wind, sun, geothermal energy, and biomass. We added the definition of a non-renewable energy source and provided some examples. Finally, we defined specific energy, along with its unit and an example. And to wrap up, we did the same for energy density. This completes our discussion of energy sources basics. In the next video, we'll learn about Sankey diagrams.